Now, there is no doubting the death of a partner can be one of the most devastating experiences for anyone. But now scientists say it could actually break your heart. A study has found that people who've lost a husband, wife or partner have a significantly higher risk of developing an irregular heartbeat. Danish researchers found those who were bereaved had a 41% higher chance of developing that irregular heartbeat. The figure is even higher when the death of a loved one was sudden or unexpected. And those aged under 60 are twice as likely to develop the condition if they suffer a loss. Joining me now to talk about this are Professor Sian Harding from the National Heart and Lung Institute and also psychologist Jo Hemmings, because it affects the mind as well as the body. Well, let's start with the body, Sian. Is this something you already suspected in people?
So it has been seen in a number of other conditions where some sudden stress and particularly bereavement has exacerbated, for example, sudden death. You're something like 19 times more likely to die the day after your partner dies than you are at any time in the year before, for example. Another interesting condition, Takotsubo, or stress cardiomyopathy in women, is very strongly associated with this kind of bereavement or other strong stresses like that.
But this study goes some way to confirming then what you already knew.
Yes, and this is a very common condition, atrial fibrillation, and to see that that also has been affected by this bereavement, this shock of bereavement, is very interesting.
As I said, Jo, it's not just a physical thing, it's a mental and emotional thing as well.
Well, it's emotional in loss. It's also psychological in terms of hormones. So when we are in love, we release feeling good hormones like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. They make us feel, on top of the world and in a good place. When we lose somebody, when our heart is broken, we literally release cortisol, which is a very high indicator of stress. It floods our bodies with stress. Actually, it gives us tension, it gives us muscle pain. It literally can contribute to a broken heart, or at least the sensation that your heart is actually very painful.
I'll ask you both what you make of this idea that it's more dangerous, perhaps, in the under 60s. Jo first.
Well, I mean, I can understand that. I think particularly in the under 60s when it's a sudden shock, that's part of the problem. There's this thing we go into called psychological shock. It's actually a trauma. And when your body is flooded with cortisol, and your heart will take on perhaps an irregular beat, it becomes dangerous when, of course, you're not at an age when it would normally be considered to be dangerous.
Sian, is it perhaps that people over 60 are slightly more aware of time passing them by?
Well, it's difficult to say because, of course, people over 60 are more likely to have some little underlying heart disease, which would have the opposite effect, you'd think. I think one of the things the study shows, though, that it's the unexpectedness of the death that particularly causes this very extreme stress and things like adrenaline flooding your body. And so I think that's probably what it comes from in the under 60s.
OK, Sian, Jo, thank you both very much indeed.